All right, so we just got our parts. They look pretty good. As you can see, I got enough for 2 kits. Just in case I mess something up, I need to modify it, whatever. If I only use 1, that means I'll have a second one available if anybody wants one. Got these from Senkutsen, hashtag not sponsored. But yeah, pretty cool. We can just kind of send files off, get stuff made for us. All right, so here we are loosely in, and we're looking good. It just clears the stud. Maybe if I turn these into a production piece, I'll give us a tiny bit more space here, but I mean, it fits good. That nub of the floor is like right here, really supporting this rear. The front, everything's loose. There you go. You can see how easily those holes do line up. So anyways, kind of how it is, pretty good at this point. Gives you a platform, mount your battery, which we're gonna do next. All right, so here's the piece that I just machined. You can see the slant on it. We are actually bolted down at the moment. If I lift this up, you can see all the bolts going through it. You know, factory piece here. Yeah, this thing's like off camera. I was kind of holding the plate and yanking the battery, and this thing feels freaking solid. The reason I'm showing you all this on here, because all this, for the time being, I'm going to keep the factory battery. It's a good battery. Batteries are expensive nowadays. When I go full race car on this thing, you know, I'll probably get some lightweight battery, but this whole kind of deal just needs to drop inside of this battery box. This is a metal battery box, some random brand, whatever. I'll probably take these stupid little handles off of the side. But if you were doing some sort of AGM battery that doesn't need to be in a container, you know, then you can even save more weight from the container. It'd just be a lot cleaner and easier. You could do a different mounting setup, whatever, kind of up to you at that point. But this is my solution for the time being. So you can see we got the box already back there, running the wires. Underneath here, you can poke right out of this grommet. There's almost like a little like nipple almost right here that you can kind of cut the top off, and it's perfect for a 2-gauge wire to come up and through. What we're going to be working on specifically is, let's get this out of the way, the positive terminal. If you look at something like a Watson kit, they actually give you like some sort of stud that's supposed to hang out here somewhere. I'm going to change it up a little bit and do something that hangs out right around here. This thing right here is going to hopefully mount somewhere in this area. What'll be kind of neat about that, once you put the, you know, cover back on, everything will look pretty darn close to OEM. The ground, we just kind of reroute to the ground here, and then the battery's grounded in the back. All right, guys, so here's the bracket you can see I designed. That's where the stud from the strut tower is going to go. That battery thing is going to go in the middle. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. At this point, let's get the machine set up and get cutting. All right, here it is after op 1. Looking pretty good. What we're going to do now is switch gears to make the jig, fixture plate, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so here's our fixture. Let's see. I had a bit of a oops early on. You can see how that hole was a little too small, so I modified it for the second one. And it should... I cut the perimeter, I think, 2 thou under, which... oh, man. Yeah, now we're talking. Look at that. That's cool. Okay. So now I need to get some hardware to hold this down, so then we can kind of contour the outside and we're done. Alright, so we're about ready to go. You can see I turned down a little custom bolt right here in the lathe. I made it a little bit smaller because we would have hit pretty good. I also added this little indent right here because that's where I'm going to get my work coordinate from. I originally had it the center of this hole, but once it's in this fixture, you know, I can't access it. So those 2 quick little changes and we should be good to go. Hit it a little bit. Of course, it wouldn't be complete without an engraving. Alright, so here it is in place. Still got to run the battery cable, but you can see kind of where it fits, where it goes. you know, factory cover, and the OEM battery tray cover thing. Oops, stuck around some of the bolts here. You know, once that kind of goes down, fits right under it. It almost looks OEM still, minus the ground cable. Yeah, cool. Happy with that. All right, now with the cover back off, I went ahead and made all of my connections so you can see where this one goes. I'll probably put some sort of cable hold in here, something like that. And then the cable went through the firewall. Underneath this trim, you can see where I poked out here. Since this thing is a track dedicated car, you know, some of the trim is just out permanently, but you know, the trim would still fit here if you wanted. And then came out to the box. What I'm going to try is one of these circuit breakers right here. I still have to do a few tiny tweaks, such as you know, putting the grommets in here, putting the lid on and all that stuff. But the circuit breaker is kind of cool. It takes the place of like one of those giant max fuses, I think they're called. What's kind of cool about these is if they ever trip, right now it's open. If I just flip it, right now battery's on. The car is going to be sitting for a while, overnight, whatever. You just hit that, there you go, battery's disconnected. As well as it's a little bit of a safety just in case, you know, this ever goes shorts to ground or anything like that. So I think that's about it. Also, one thing I want to point out, all the crimps that I had to make, I finally got myself a proper set of 0, I think to like 8 gauge wire crimp pliers. So these things right here, I'm going to put a link to these down below. If you're doing any sort of battery relocation, this and these beefy wire cutters, I'll put an Amazon link to those below. These things were freaking awesome, making good, firm, you know, connections on this 2 gauge wire here. So definitely pick up some of these if you do any battery work. All right, guys, so I think that's about it. Funny enough, in real world time, the amount of other issues I've been having with this car, I probably started that, like that rear seat tray thing probably about 8 months ago. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. You know, puts weight obviously in the back of the car. Now the reason I didn't go all the way to the trunk, because that'll increase weight, your pendulum effect. You know, weight is now lower. It's actually a little bit more center in the car. So it's pretty much like a win all around, even though it's nothing huge. And again, I could go to like a lightweight battery if I'm worried about total car weight. All right, guys, so that's where we're wrapping this one up. Next track day should be pretty soon. Got a couple other things I want to do to it before I go out. So I'll definitely do a track day video when I get back out. But as always, guys, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one.